Welcome back everyone to another episode on Ang's channel's discussion. Today, yet another topic of investment, but then this is quite contrary and sort of opposite of what I'm actually doing and promoting throughout my investing journey on the YouTube channel. So the topic is actually do not invest first because it's actually quite important to understand the risk of investing or trading or putting your money into assets that said to be being able to generate profits as well as cash flow in the long run or instantly within nights and so on. But yeah, this is the discussion of today. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, do not investment, as the topic mentioned, is quite self-explainable, whereby don't invest first unless you have done these few things. So first of all is you have a emergency fund. So this is a very important part because emergency fund is that one fund whereby you have a lot of money and then it's liquid. It's basically you are mostly putting into FDs in your banks whereby if someday you are needed, for example, if your car tires actually got flat and you need a new set of tires, then this fund can be that cash that goes out to pay for the merchants to buy your new tires, or it can be the situation whereby if you know you have health issues and then you got sick and then you need some money in order to buy medicals or go for a dental treatments, this emergency fund can be a work. And one of the most common discussion of having an emergency fund is that what if you got laid off? So basically you need a certain buffer of survival. You'll be able to be okay in order to survive your daily lives without worrying about not having a job. So for having emergency fund is actually quite depends on your risk appetite. So some people will say 3 months is enough, or some people say 6 months is a standard level, and some people say it's better to have 2 years or 1 years of emergency fund, which depends on what makes you feel comfortable. And after having this kind of cash in your hands or in your bank, which can be used immediately in any case of emergencies or needs, then and when you feel comfortable, then it moves on to another steps. So at this step two is actually you can actually consider these steps as parallel, because after you have done all this, then it might be a great chance for you to go on and invest and just risk a little bit in order to gain profits, to live a better life. So the second thing is going to be insurance. So insurance is important because you have to ensure that before you go into the market, whereby there is a risk. And what is the risk? My father always says, if you invest in anything, the most worst case, okay, we're not talking about options or you open a margin account by using others people money to trade. We don't do that, okay? Please try to just invest whatever you have or your savings. Don't go and borrow money, open a margin account, and then saying like, oh, I'm gonna be a billionaire, millionaire this today, tonight. uh, Please don't, because it's better to use what you have on hands, and the maximum risk just by investing on what you have is going to be zero. But if you're investing on some others money or on the margin, the loss can be unlimited. So just invest using your own capital, because the maximum risk exists is going to be zero. So insurance is important because whatever you are going to invest later on, you will have this sort of buffer or a certainty. Because by having insurance, you, for example, medical card, your life insurance, accident or disability, or as well as disease, all sorts of insurance set up. Uh, One thing is going to be don't overpay. Don't overpay for your insurance. So as long as the coverage is enough for in order for you to survive or to provide what you have been providing right now, then I think it should be fine. So don't overpay. But this is another topic, and I'm not a person who sells insurance, but then that's the basic idea that insurance is just for you to leverage on to converge the risk to insurance. So basically, if you need 100K of medical payments in 10 years later, you can actually be placing or switching this risk to the insurance company by just paying maybe 1,000 ringgits per year. And yeah, it's actually a good investment for in this case. So insurance, just to have a backup, especially to have a backup on something. What if it happens? And when that happens, you are barely going to have that amount of money to pay off. So that is why insurance is needed, because medical life can be expensive, and life insurance is that whether or not if someone pass away, they'll still be having that amount to provide for whatever they are committing to ensure survival, at least being able to cover up half a year or a year and so on. So after you have all these two, then the third thing, which I do think is the last thing, is going to be controlling your lifestyle. So controlling your lifestyle means that most of the people, I heard only, I haven't experienced it. So most of the people is that when their salary increases, what tends to happen is going to be their lifestyle or their spending increase along with their salary. So most of the people will realize that I earn 10K a month, but then I actually save 200. It's actually in the same situation whereby I earn 5K, but then I spend 4K and 800s. So the thing is that controlling lifestyle, I'm not saying that you cannot eat, you cannot sleep in a good bed, you cannot wear clothes. It's just that you might as well just remain on whatever you have. For example, your car, or maybe you already have a house. Don't go and buy a new one just because your salary increased. You have a lot of free cash on your hands and saying that, oh, I want to buy a new house. But if you are buying a new house that is to be rented out as an investment property, yes, I would encourage that. But if you just to say that, oh, I have a lot of cash on hands, I want to buy properties, and but then I'm not going to stay there all the time, then I do think it's a liability, because everyone is not only it not only does not provide you any value, maybe for some short terms or emergency cases, but then most of the months is just going to take money out of your pockets, and you are actually just paying the interest of the bank, which now in this case is not gonna worth it. So another thing about lifestyle is when increased salaries, you tend to buy a lot of luxuries. For example, new iPhones. You can buy an iPhone and just use it for some years, and then you think that, oh, it's quite old already, it's weary, and then the storage is not enough. Then maybe you can change after that. But if you are that kind of person whereby I earn 10K now, so new iPhones come in every year, then I just switch every year. Now it's possible if you trade in and then just add up another 1,000 or 2,000 as to cover up the price range difference to obtain a new phone. That can be also a thing. But most people is that, oh, they want to buy new rings, new bags, new watches. But if that watches increase in value, such as Rolex, it can be work. But most of the time, people buy things that depreciate in terms of value, or we so-called liabilities, because uh, I do think that is the same rules of 80-20% rules, whereby only 20% of whatever is making money in that category. So for watches, only 20% or maybe less of all the watches are making money. So after you have done all these three things, then I think it's time for you to get into the investment market. So me personally, myself, do I achieve all this? Well, yes, I already achieved this, but I actually have a shortcut, because I start investing because it was my father's capital. So he just assigned me a small capital for me to manage. It's like a lesson for me to just start up or engage myself in investment. So I'm kind of blessed with it, and I do also notice that I need an emergency fund. So I was be able to save up my monthly allowance and also have a 6 month emergency fund. But then this 6 month emergency fund should be increasing according to your growth or whatever amount that you earn and you're committing, because you have to ensure it able to cover up that 6 months buffer. So for example, if you are buying or you're investing properties, so each month, for example, that installment is going to be 2,000. So you have to add 2,000 every month into this emergency fund, because for that 6 month, what if, just what if, there are no tenants, you can't find any tenants, so you have that amount of 6 months buffer, you will be able to cover up that losses or difference pretty well. Because I do believe that in that range of time, if you don't have this amount of money, it's going to be quite hard, because you are just taking out money every month from your pockets, and especially in times where you are jobless, and then you are going to depend on this kind of emergency fund. And insurance is a backup in order for you to handle big losses, and this can be your backdoor or your support when bad things happens. And controlling lifestyle is that, I'm not saying you cannot enjoy, but then don't overspend for things that you don't need. That's what I'm trying to say, because even because we as people are greedy, there are endless things that we want, and it's just never enough to be chased. So you are never going to be satisfied with things, with whatever luxuries that you have, because there will be always have new phone, new car, new bags that is going to attract you, that you want to buy it. So I do think that it's important to control lifestyle, and this also comes through the thoughts of, you can actually uh what is so called retired if you have a million. Because if you have a million and every month you spend 2 to 3 thousand, then it's actually quite enough. But of course, don't lah, please don't lah, because you don't just live a life whereby you just wake up, eat, sleep, wake up, eat, sleep. For me, if you're saying life like that, I also think that it's very boring, because at least try to explore whatever activities that could potentially be your passion. So do it for free. Maybe one day eventually it will become something that brings value to you. But as always, do something interesting that you like for free is important, because whatever money that comes, or whatever good profits features that comes, is just additional. Because as long as you are doing something that you like, it's no longer a job. It's something that even though you are tired, you will still be able to commit into it few hours or even few minutes for every day, because you just love it. And also, to add on about last thing, do not invest first, is if you want to invest in something, make sure that you get yourself educated, get to know about what is this asset that I want to buy, what is stocks, if I want to buy stocks, what is property, how does it work, what is the game like. So are there any people that are doing the same thing right now? Who are those people and how they do it? So go and find and research what they actually do before you enter. And once you get yourself educated, also take note about the risk, and is this risk, I can handle it, I can take it. If yes, then just understand there are risks in the market, and what is the worst case. Always plan for the worst case. It's not saying that, oh, bad omen or so on, but then it's also have but then it's actually acting like a backup plan for you if this kind of thing happens. But I don't think going zero is 90%, or it rarely happens lah. So yeah, it's important to get yourself educated, understand the risk, what is the worst case, and then take informed decisions whereby you already know everything. Now go for it, and then yeah, just learn throughout the way, and then do better. Don't make the same mistakes. It's the same logical and reasonable things. So I guess that is all for today's video about do not invest first. Not saying don't invest, but then you have to prepare few steps first before you involve yourself into investment, because investment is not about just putting your salary or whatever money that you need to use this month or within the next month. Because what if you are using the salary of this month, to invest, you don't have the allowance to eat, to travel, to stay, or to deal with health issues, dental treatments, and so on. And also, if you only have 10K, and this 10K is actually very important for your survival for the next few months, and then you invest it, what if you actually need it at that month, and when you want to sell the equity or the shares, it's actually in a lower price range, you wouldn't actually dare to sell because it's at a loss. So investment is on money, whereby they are free, they aren't allocated for any purpose, or they are not in work or something. Yes, you can put inside the FD, but as I mentioned, this depends on different people's risk appetite. Yes, I'm not saying putting in FD is invalid, is wrong, but I'm just saying there are multiple ways. You can buy properties, you can buy stocks, you can put in FDs, you can put in terms of cash inside a biscuit store. But then inside biscuit store, it's not investment because inflation is just eating up the value of the money. So I guess that is all for today's video. I hope this helped, and do share your comments or your thoughts on these topics down the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.